Yo, right here in the small box.
I'm heating up, I'm trying to burn down Toronto. Better keep 6 feet space, this 6-side shit contagious. Money coming in, all I see is numbers, like I'm in the Matrix. We've been in the trap.
Every day, there's always something different that happens. There's always something new that comes around. It's a daily change. Not weekly, not no bi-weekly, not monthly, it's daily. And if you don't have the right people in the industry that can listen and learn and kind of choose who they want to work with, you're going to run into a lot of problems and a lot of missed out opportunity. And with every missed out opportunity, that's missed out money or potential revenue that you could have gotten. So, Mr. Ruse, I like to call him Mr. Ruse. We're going to tap in with his content. Specifically, this one right here. I think this is a good topic to end on. Salute to his platform, The Manager's Playbook. Y'all can learn a lot from dude. So let's go ahead and listen to a couple slides of what this individual is talking about, and then we can get into the nitty gritty. And y'all know me, I'm going to say what I need to say. So let's make it happen, bro.
You feel like everybody should get cut?
I think everyone should get fired.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everyone should get fired. It's like, I think it's a real fucking life lesson. Getting fired, it's like...
Oh, just in general. So not specific to like everybody. You just mean everybody should get fired at one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, tell me more.
No, I think everyone should get fired at some point because there's nothing that will test your character more than that.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been somewhere for a while. I think like, get fired, you figure it out. You go, oh shit, I'm more than just this job. I've actually got experience. I can do things. Yes, it's tricky, but I've got to figure this out. And once you've weathered that, like, no one can trouble you after that. It doesn't mean don't get a job again, get a job. But once you've had that and weathered that and navigated it,
yeah,
what else can test you?
You feel like everybody...
So this individual right here is Rich Castillo. I see the point that he's trying to make, but I feel like you can take it a big step further. So let's keep going. So, forced growth. Getting fired strips away comfort. It forces you to reset to figure out who you are without the title. There's a reason why I want to talk about this for my last topic, because this is something I would not necessarily want to aim at the music industry, but it's something that I want to talk about with the music industry in mind. So let's keep going down these slides. Character check. That moment tests you. Do you crumble or rebuild sharper, hungrier, and stronger?
You've been fired before?
Yeah, I have. I had my first job.
Okay.
I got fired because the business wasn't quite working. It's funny. I got fired just before I had a big moment. I had a group. I was a management company. I had a group just before they broke. I got let go because I spent too much time on this group and we weren't making any money at the time.
Mm.
And I got let go. I had to deal with it. I managed to get some consultancies. I managed to survive in London. But I was like, what the fuck? What am I going to do? And literally, I was able to continue working the group I was already working on.
How old were you?
I was 24.
Wow, young. Okay.
24. I was just in London for 3 years. I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I got fired. I was like, oh, God. So I used all my contacts. I managed to get 2 consultancies. Within 2 months, I was making like maybe 3 times what I was making working for the guy full time through consultancies. And just after that, the first group I worked with properly ended up broke.
Mm.
We had midweek really high, and all of a sudden my phone wouldn't start calling. And I've never looked back since.
You've been fired before?
Failure isn't final in the business. Failure isn't the end. It's often the start to everything that comes next. Now, like I said, there's a reason why I wanted to talk about this, because when it comes to the industry now, y'all know me already. I learn a lot from different executives within the industry or people that work within the industry. The one common thing that I always hear from them is that the people that are high up there, they really don't know. They're just basing it off of what they see on the internet. So think about how everything is built and everything is structured based on that one point. Let's use the internet to kind of drive music sales. So how are they going to do that? They are going to utilize certain conflicts and drama to push music. They'll start drama between artists, especially with female artists. With female artists, they use the drama to push their music, whether if it's a single project, whatever. And through that route is how they maximize their revenue with that kind of like channel or source that they're using to bring in profit, right? So watch this now. I mentioned this yesterday, if I'm correct. When you're trying to push your music, are you trying to push to a minority or a majority? Think about it. You have a minority demographic and you have a majority demographic. Are you pushing to the minority or the majority? Almost all the time, they're pushing to a minority, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to push to the minority, but push it in a way that they can maximize from this crowd of individuals, which is what they do for most of music. Looking at the music today, after all the videos we watched today, we talked about streaming, we talked about the self-snitching. Those are different audiences, those are different demographics that music's being pushed to, but it's not a major demographic, it's not a major audience. The reality is those are minorities. Even though you have this amount of people watching you at one time, say for example on Kai Snatch stream, that's still not the overall population. Just think about that for a second. It's kind of nasty. What's good, Brianne? How you doing? It's kind of twisted because the whole business model is flawed. And if you're creating a business off the business model which is flawed, we have a problem. So when I look at this right here, everyone in the music business should get fired. Yeah. If you want to utilize the resources of today, you need to understand what these things are about. And to understand that, you need to also realize the reality of the situation that you are in as somebody that occupies a chair at the top. It might not even be for you. Whatever we're doing down here, whether if it's on streaming, whether it's out there with any kind of like event, any kind of like tradition, anything like that, a lot of times they're not going to know about it. They're not going to know about the music. They're not going to know about the trends. They're not going to understand what's it called? They're not going to understand certain slang terms. They're not going to understand how we move in today's society, how things have changed from back then. They're not going to understand that. They're not going to understand how minimalistic a lot of us move nowadays. When it can come all the way down to how we dress, how we think, and how we act. They might not understand. They might get concepts from it. They might understand ideas of it. They might go out and hire somebody to help them understand it, or they will hire somebody to get this done for them. But at the end of the day, these things are happening because they're in the chairs. So now you got to sit there and think, it's like, how do we work with y'all, knowing that this is something you probably would never understand, that this is something you would never get? That's why when I was talking about the streamers and everything, there are so many opportunities to work with them. There are so many possibilities to working with streamers. And I'm only talking about streamers alone. With streaming, there's a whole lot of creativity that goes into it that's going to make it work. Issue is that you're not going to understand it, or you're not going to even comprehend the creativity behind this to think of something unique that you can use to maximize on your profit. At the end of the day, it's like, how much more money do you want to make? That's the key. If you want this company to be the best and to maximize on their profit so that everybody can get a nice slice of cake, you also need to understand that in today's world, you're constantly learning. You're constantly educating yourself. Same thing when we look at all these the self-snitching rappers out there. The reason why that's like that is because of the lack of education. Everything is changing daily, like I said, constantly, over and over and over. Things are evolving, things are improving, or we're introduced into something new that we could utilize as a resource to better our lives. The industry, the music industry, there are so many different ways where they can work with different people in their cities, no matter where they're from. But I think the business-oriented minds out there not necessarily are outdated. Because remember, if you're simplifying the workload, you're not necessarily giving up. You're just seeing it from an angle that you know that you can get this maximum amount of money from. But that might not be the overall maximum. It's a twisted world out there, bro. It's a twisted world out there. So it's mainly about just like, how can we be innovative? How can we be the leaders of this so that others can follow? That's how a lot of companies be thinking. How can we drive past everybody on the charts so that we can remain dominant, so our dominance will be known? That's how a lot of these labels be thinking. And the one thing that they're not realizing is that it's not always going to come from the artist. Sometimes it comes from how well the artist can work with other people. Because by doing it like that, you can open more doors for that artist to not only work on their craft, but at the same time push music that can put them into different rooms. There are different levels to making maximum revenue, and I feel like the industry is making it at a basic level, because look at the internet and look at how music has shaped a lot of minds out there. A lot of people are thinking simple. They're not thinking innovation. They're not thinking maximizing. They're thinking what I can get at this moment. How much can I walk away with at this moment? That's how a lot of them are thinking. And majority of the time, unfortunately, it's not even a maximum that they're getting. It's something high enough where it's like, all right, cool, we're good. It's twisted out here, but that's what it comes to. That's what it is. A lot of the times, it's actually possible for a lot of us to break down how they think behind closed doors. And it doesn't even take that much brain power, which is the crazy part. Yes, there might be some prerequisites into understanding and learning these things, but overall, it's really not that hard, if we're going to be really, really honest with y'all. So, the one thing I would want to say as something to walk away with for everybody is just creativity matters, but how you use that creativity is going to matter the most. It's one thing to just be creative. It's another thing to be creative with a business mindset, which makes me go back to the quote Tyler, the Creator, had, which is like, create something, anything, like a toddler, whether if it's an idea for like a product, whether if it's like something where it's like, oh, let's just do this. Let's just sit back and do this together, right? But watch this now. So you create as a toddler, as a child, but you work on it as a scientist, meaning that you're going to take this simple idea and branch this out until this tree is full, you know? You're going to work out every possibility of how you can take this to the next level, and then keep doing it until you hit a ceiling with this simple idea. And then you apply a business mindset to it, which takes it to another level of thinking about it from a scientific point. So creativity matters. It's just how you're using that creativity that's going to matter the most. Yo, this is my bag, bro. When you're at the Flexing My Network, this is my bag. All of this, there's no script. I'm thinking on the fly. I'm looking at a wall right now. See? Look. There's no script on the wall. I'm just looking at it. That's how you know I'm locked in. This is what I do. When you're on this channel with me, this is what I do. I can't help it. My brain functions like that. I just be thinking, just like on the fly, just like, yo, you know what's crazy? Like, that's just me, bruh. That's just how I be. Hey, Josh, you're not wrong. Hey, bro. Hey, I'll be a chef. You know what I'm saying, Quickie? I'll be cooking sometimes. I can't help it, bro. It's just what I do. So, and it kind of, okay, let me finish up by saying it's like, it's kind of harsh to say everybody in the music business should be fired. But the reason why it's like that is because you're not really utilizing everything at your fingertips. You're just utilizing the things that you can understand. If you just took the time to understand the whole landscape of entertainment, we wouldn't even have these problems. But you're just taking what you know and you're running with it and you're trying to figure out how you can maximize from it. And a lot of the times you're really not maximizing. You're just making the most that you can get. There's levels to all this, bro. I just want to end by saying that. But what time is it? Jesus, bro. I just be yapping. All right. I think I can call it here. Today was a good day. Today was a good live. Great videos to get to. Yeah. It was a good live today. I'm not going to.
I don't live in present tense. So just over a Daytona. Girl, my life been like a kid drama. Walking to.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.